Although the Pacific Northwest has a rich maritime history dating back to the 1700s, it wasn't until 1916 that William H. Todd arranged for the merger of three East Coast shipbuilders, Robbins Dry Dock in Tejan and Long, and Seattle Construction and Dry Dock Company, to form the region's first major shipbuilding operation. Eventually, Todd Pacific Shipyards would operate shipyards in locations on the Pacific, Atlantic, and Gulf coasts, as well as abroad. Like other industries, Todd's Pacific shipyards were subject to boom and bust cycles. During the relative prosperity of the 1920s, the Todd Corporation issued a number of industry publications, including the Keel, the Todd Daily Maritime, and the Bridge. The company managed to survive on repair orders during the Great Depression of the 1930s. Mobilizing for World War II made the Todd Corporation prosperous once more. Between the start of hostilities in December of 1941 and the final Japanese surrender in August of 1945, the company's 5 regional shipyards built, converted, and performed repairs on 23,450 vessels of all sizes and types. Aggregate tonnage during the war was measured at over 117 million. The company also began to diversify during this period. Britain's Royal Navy commissioned the Todd Corporation's London division to develop the Todd insecticidal fog applicator. In response to tropical diseases faced by service personnel in the South Pacific and Southeast Asia. By the late 1940s, the TIFA was manufactured at all Todd facilities and is still used in about 2,000 communities throughout the world. Since 1973, TIFA has been a separate company. Business for Todd fell off during the post-war period. As the U.S. Navy began outsourcing to civilian contractors during the 1950s, Todd benefited from conversion and repair orders. In the 1960s and 70s, the company was also involved in the U.S. space program and received orders as a result of the Merchant Marine Act of 1970 and the Patrol Flight Program of 1972. Inflationary pressures and low returns on investments caused significant problems starting in 1975. However, as the shipbuilding industry declined, this led to the closure of several operations during the 1980s, including the San Pedro Yard near Los Angeles. Todd Pacific today. Since 1990, Todd Pacific has focused on its Seattle operations. The company's current clients include the U.S. Army, the Maritime Administration, Military Sealift Command, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The company provides 800 high-wage jobs to the Seattle community and recognizes 11 different labor unions. Asbestos exposure. The heavy use of asbestos in shipbuilding dates back to a 1934 tragedy in which a passenger liner, the Morro Castle, caught fire at sea, killing nearly 1/5 of those aboard. Because of this, the maritime industry, encouraged by asbestos manufacturers, lobbied the U.S. Congress to pass legislation requiring use of the fireproof material. As a result, the federal government became the largest buyer of asbestos, which was subsequently used on virtually every shipboard component. Workers employed prior to 1980, whose tasks required them to go below decks for any length of time, are at the highest risk for developing asbestos-related illnesses. In building a case, specific details are important. Those considering filing a lawsuit may wish to visit the Colton Company website, where construction records of 80 to 90% of all ships built in the U.S. since 1940 are maintained in a database searchable by vessel type and manufacturer. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.Net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.Net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.Net. Information and help for patients and families.